Podcast of the year. We'll just wait for the amazing Angie to come on down. Oh, there she is. She is rapid. One sec. Let's invite her to join. Send invite. Hopefully that's winging its way to Angie as we speak. But yeah, trust everyone's had an amazing Christmas, New Year, Hanukkah, whatever other events I've missed off. I apologize, but yeah, I hope you all had a great one. Are you there, Angie?
I did. I am. And I
Yeah.
did. I had a great one.
Happy New Year.
Yes. Woohoo. I hope you are
Woo.
all ready to party because I am. I actually
You know
have
me.
an in-person meeting today. So I had to put pants on that
Oh
button.
God. Oh my God. I
Yeah.
can't
So
remember
thoughts
what
and
life was
prayers.
like.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers are
Yeah.
accepted right
Oh,
now because it's
well,
a rough one.
let me get the illegals out of the way and then you can crack on. Then you can go to your in-person meeting.
Heck
So
yeah.
as usual, nothing discussed on this space is session constitute trading or investment advice or infers any kind of endorsement by PRQ Global Limited, Traders PRQ or PRQ Suite, or indeed its host, which as you know by now is the amazing Angie Setzer and myself. I'm going to call myself awesome, Ryan Paisley. There you go. Off
I
to a
will call
flyer.
you awesome as well.
I wonder where you're going with
Super
that.
awesome. Yeah, right. You never know. I never know. Honestly, I start and I like to be as surprised as the rest of you with what's going to come out of my mouth. So, having said that, happy Monday, happy 2025. I am ready to rock. Like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
went into the holidays extremely tired and ready for a break, and now I didn't really get one either. But I it's okay. We're ready. Let's go. So, this morning stuff, what we're talking about, the big focus. Couple different things. Like we opened higher last night. Beans were up a dime right off the get go. Corn was up a couple. Obviously, we kind of fell apart last Friday. Sort of a risk off sort of approach. We had traded up to 6 month highs for corn, the highest since the end of June in the corn market. And that had helped kind of trigger a bunch of farmer selling. I'm going to tell you kind of a little fun fact there, Ryan, about what happens here in the US after the first of the year. Farmers, it's a whole new tax year. And so they tend
Right.
to like to front load or need. Maybe it's not a tend to like there's probably a lot of farmers out there like Angie, I'd like to wait, but can't. They need
Right.
to generate some cash. And so we have seen a big flow of farmer selling, and that kind of triggered some technical selling. No one really wanted to carry this sort of trade, weather market trade either, because that's what we're dealing with now into the weekend. Sold it off, kind of worked to recover it last night, and then really started to pick up steam here on what we've got going on, right now with the markets. Beans had lost 20 on Friday. We're back up 17. Corn had lost 8 on Friday. We're back up 6 right now. And so what's driving that? A couple different things. I'm going to say probably, obviously the South American weather market discussion. And so we'll get to that here in a second. But some of Trump's approach, President-elect Trump's approach now to tariffs could be changing. And I think a lot of folks are kind of like, wait a minute, we've been so, negative about what this could look like. We've had this idea that he's just going to come in on day one and absolutely just slam this market with tariffs. He's going to put tariffs on China. He's going to put tariffs on Mexico, Canada, everyone. And I've been kind of like, he's not gonna. We've talked about it a few different times where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, everyone chill. And so overnight, you started to see this story circulate where Trump's looking at, blanket tariffs on all critical imports from
Yeah.
everyone. So it's not a sort of, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you. On top of that, it's a 10 to 20%, which is pretty reduced. And they're kind of a focus on what they call critical for US. So what we're talking about, like aluminum, copper, steel, some medical supplies, apparently, per some of what I'm seeing there, and then talk on energy supplies. So it could be interesting to see if he also, not only includes like solar panels and things like that, but that used cooking oil conversation that we've been having about China sending a bunch of used cooking oil, those types of things. And so I think folks kind of recognizing that this may not be the same. Like right now, my biggest frustration in anything is people that are like, well, this happened 10 years ago, so this is going to happen today. This happened in 2017, so this is going to happen today. That's not the case, and it never has been. Have you ever seen history completely repeat itself? I haven't, but we're all acting like it will.
Yeah.
And so I think this sort of transition to maybe this kinder, gentler Trump, which I do think his chief of staff has a huge influence on. And I think she is someone that you have to really pay close attention to because she's very well respected, very calm, and very even mannered, it appears. And so I think that's the change this go around. Now,
Yeah.
I could be wrong by noon. He could come back out, completely blow this up, and be like, "Oh yeah, this is in addition to 60% tariffs. F everybody." But I don't think that's necessarily the case. So that's
Got
the end
you.
of point
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. You haven't lost me yet.
Cool. All right. So point two, we got a nice little weather story. Everyone wants to focus on Argentina, and that is, kind of respectable. It's easy to look at Argentina and say, okay, they were dry through the month of December. They're now going to continue to be dry for the next couple of weeks. They're seeing heat build in during, what is some critical development phases, depending. Argentina, Brazil, all of South America is very variable this time of year on what crops, where they're at from a maturity standpoint, what is growing, where it's growing, how, like what the impact is, which is why I really like AIQ and some of the information they put out, because they tend to really focus on not only rainfall amounts, but soil moisture in the places at which the issues are developing. And so there is a big focus on southern Brazil, eastern Paraguay. And so like last year, when we saw this dryness kick in, we saw like Paraguay's soybean crop be reduced by about 10%. It's not a huge amount, but it's a couple million metric ton, that kind of would be reduced. We're talking about a reduction in Argentina. Southern Brazil, there's some real big issues developing in parts. Other parts, this is just helping them be able to harvest. But it's not only the heat and dryness that is concerning, we're also looking at too much moisture to the central and northern parts of Brazil. And so, too much moisture as we're working our way towards harvest could be completely detrimental. It's good for the crop, it's good for pod fill, but it can start to cause quality issues. And then especially the biggest concern right now is that we're just going to delay safrinha planting. And so the bulk, 77% of Brazil's corn crop is produced after soybeans are harvested. And so it needs to be planted by the end of February. Now, we're 5 weeks away, 6 weeks away from that, sort of window closing, but there are portions
Yeah.
across the country that already are seeing their window get smaller. They're already behind 10 days to 2 weeks. And with, basically another double the amount of normal rainfall, which is saying something for a part of a country that gets 10 inches of rain on average in the month of January. We're talking about double the normal amount of rain. We've been seeing double the normal amount of rain for a handful of weeks. And so that is becoming concerning and will need to be something to watch. And will probably be on our radar, no pun intended, for the next
No,
couple
stop it.
few weeks. So we'll be watching that to see what happens next there,
So
especially as well.
just on Brazil, because obviously in the run up, it feels like a million years ago now, but in the run up to Christmas, obviously the wheels were falling off the Brazilian economy. Lula was obviously going through his, I believe he's I believe he's recovering well after his brain operation, whatever that was. But it does feel like since, well, at least the last week or so, it's all kind of quietened down on the negative news flow that I'm seeing, at least from Brazil. So I don't know
Yes.
if you picked up on anything like that, or it might just be that it's New Year and everyone's been a bit too busy to report on it. But it's definitely not something that I believe vanished. It just might be underreported for the first week or so of Jan. So I definitely think it's still worth keeping an eye on the possible,
Yes.
implosion of the Brazilian economy and the factors, the fallout that it has from that.
Yeah, and so we'll continue to watch that. I think it's grown quiet holidays for one.
Mm-hmm.
I think folks are like, "Yeah, we'll get back to that. We'll see what happens here when we get back to work and have to wear pants that button." But I also think that the change in guard. So we've got the
Yeah.
new head of the central bank, as you'd mentioned, and he's very close to. And so initially that was a worrisome sort of thing, right? Because he was super close. But they'd
Yeah.
come out with a couple different press conferences where they were reiterating that, hey, the change in guard is happening, but it's not necessarily a significant change. I support this policy, yada, yada, yada. And so I think we'll have to see, what did they spend? 30 billion in their reserves, or is it 20 billion in the month of December? So I have it written down
Yeah.
somewhere, but a significant amount of money to try to prop up their currency was spent. And I think right now there's a few other things that are happening. And speaking of breaking news or whatever, Trump did come back out and say that that Washington Post story that he'll pare back his tariff policy is wrong.
Yeah.
So welcome to living and dying by tweets
Well, and
again.
also
If you missed
just
it.
just on that as well. Yesterday we did see, or overnight, sorry, there was some headlines regarding Trump and obviously this the disagreement he's having over immigration or like immigrant labor.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem like he's walking back slightly. This whole, he'll give a pass to people that that are providing services. yeah, he said like high skilled, but I believe that's also leaning towards the agricultural side as well, which is something that we
Hmm.
know there's been pushback on, saying, look, there are some migrants out there that are really, they're adding value to the economy and especially the farmers and stuff. So hopefully sense prevails on that front.
Yes, I think we'll see sense prevail. I feel like we'll have a lot of volatility and we'll have a lot of back and forth, but maybe
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
me being an optimistic human like I am. But I do feel like you will see, I think, and I feel like we learned this. This is the thing in my
This is
mind that
it.
I keep,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, real aggressive, and then not so much. And that's just, I mean, it's the same thing in anything that you do if you're a
Yeah.
negotiator, right? Like if I don't hear no the first time I offer someone a chunk of corn, I was too cheap, or I was too cheap.
Yeah,
Like I did it wrong.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I negotiated wrong. If they're like, yeah, I'll take that, I'm like, shit. And so the thing is like in negotiation, right? We have to come on, we have to come out guns
Yeah.
a blazing, whatever. Like, and so we'll see what happens next. But we will be back and forth with Trump saying that, no, I'm not going to walk back my tariffs. I think we'll see maybe some of this initial push. When we open here in another 5 minutes, probably back off a little bit. The dollar's backing off on some of its gains, as he's come out and said what
Yeah.
he said. But yeehaw, giddy up. 2025 is going to be a blast, I
Yeah,
think.
fingers crossed. Just a couple of things to add because it kind of just came to light just before we went live. I know the Open's just around the corner, so I will be quick. But obviously, it looks like Trudeau might be resigning at 10:45 Eastern
Mm-hmm.
time. By the looks of it, he's making an announcement, and it was rumored before the announcement of the speech that he would be resigning. So I want to keep an eye on that front. Also, more for the motif traders, for anyone with an eye on the European markets. France are in a very big black hole budget wise.
Mm-hmm.
They need to cut 50 billion, that's with a B, euros off their budget. We all know that French farmers love to strike. No one strikes quite as well as a French farmer, in my humble opinion. Apparently, last night they were on the move. There was a lot of farmers starting to make their way towards Paris. It's just something else to keep an eye on. This could be quite a substantial issue for France going forward because it looks like they're going to be spending less and taxing more. So definitely want to keep an eye on because we know how volatile that can be over there. But
Yeah,
anyway,
not to mention they've got like some really interesting physical market things happening in Europe.
exactly. Same.
With
Finger on
the
the pulse
French
here.
wheat crop, right? Like you've got the French wheat crop that was smaller and of poorer quality, and then you have the European crop that's dealing with a crap ton
Yeah.
of toxin issues. Already had some production reduction, like our friend Rory from the Friars report. There's some estimates coming out of their report, which is fantastic as well. That the European Union will need to import upwards of 10 million metric ton of additional corn
Yeah.
in order to blend out that poor quality stuff. And so that's going to be something that'll be interesting to watch, especially if they struggle with currency and some of these other things. Like how does that all line up? So
It's going to be an
2025 set up
interesting
to be
quarter.
fun. Yeah, it'll be good
Yeah,
for
exactly
job
that.
security, I guess.
Exactly that. Well, Angie, thank you so much. Starting the year strong, not just the month, starting the year strong. Listeners, again, I hope you all had a fantastic break. Stay healthy, stay good. Keep doing the good work, and we will see you all tomorrow. Peace
Have a good
out.
one. Have a good one.
See you later. Bye bye.